is Thursday, August 20th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are on More About Alcoholism. We'll be reading page 39. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 5. We'll read page 61. And of course, read NA's Just for Today and Al-Anon's Courage to Change. So with that, hope you all are doing well this beautiful Thursday morning. It is Friday Eve. Another week in the books almost. It's crazy to think about, but life is good over here. Got a giant cup of coffee in my Marvel cup. It's a blueberry, like some kind of blueberry coffee, and it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And I woke up sober today. What a miracle that is. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and we were just talking about our faith a little bit, and we were talking about just the fact, the tangible evidence in front of us of just the miracle of sobriety. That's a miracle in itself, and gosh, there's so much I'm grateful for. But with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading, we were at a point where we did talk about the jaywalker. We talked about Jim, and now we're talking about a hypothetical situation where somebody goes, well, you know, thanks for the information, but I'm not that extreme. We have not lost everything in life through drinking, and we certainly don't intend to. Thanks for the information. And all I can add to that is, yeah, we haven't yet, right? But we're on page 39. We'll kind of answer that a little hypothetical, talking about self-knowledge. That may be true of certain non-alcoholic people who, through drinking foolishly and heavily at the present time, are able to stop or moderate because their brains and bodies have not been damaged as ours were. But the actual or potential alcoholic, with hardly an exception, will be absolutely unable to stop drinking on the basis of self-knowledge. This is a point we wish to emphasize and re-emphasize, to smash home upon our alcoholic readers, as it has been revealed to us out of bitter experience. Let us take another illustration. Fred is a partner in a well-known accounting firm. His income is good. He has a fine home, is happily married, and the father of promising children of college age. He has so attractive a personality that he makes friends with everyone. If ever there was a successful businessman, it's Fred. To all appearance, he is a stable, well-balanced individual. Yet, he is alcoholic. We first saw Fred about a year ago in a hospital where he had gone to recover from a bad case of jitters. It was his first experience of this kind, and he was much ashamed of it. Far from admitting that he was alcoholic, he told himself that he came to the hospital to rest his nerves. The doctor intimated strongly that he might be worse than he realized. For a few days, he was depressed about his condition. He made up his mind to quit drinking altogether. It never occurred to him that perhaps he could not do so, in spite of his character and standing. Fred would not believe himself an alcoholic, much less accept a spiritual remedy for his problem. We told him what we knew about alcoholism. He was interested and conceded that he had some of the symptoms, but he was a long way from admitting that he could do nothing about it himself. He was positive that his humiliating experience, plus the knowledge that he'd acquired, would keep him sober for the rest of his life. Self-knowledge would fix it. And we'll find out what happens to Fred tomorrow. Stay tuned. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. And yesterday we talked about how it's always good to get a second opinion before we make certain amends, or a second opinion about our inventory, because we might think that maybe we are overly guilty, that we're terrible people, or we may think that we've done nothing wrong and deflect. Or we may think that God is telling us to do something when it just might be our own conscience trying to tell us to do something. But with that, we're on bottom of page 60, and we're going to read 61. Our next problem will be to discover the person in whom we are to confide. We ought to take much care, remembering that prudence is a virtue which carries a high rating. Perhaps we shall need to share with this person facts about ourselves which no others ought to know. We shall want to speak with someone who is experienced, who not only has stayed dry but has been able to surmount other serious difficulties. Difficulties perhaps like our own. This person may turn out to be one's sponsor, but not necessarily so. If you have developed a high confidence in him, and his temperament and problems are close to your own, then such a choice would be good. Besides, your sponsor already has the advantage of knowing something about your case. Perhaps, though, your relation to him is such that you would care to reveal only a part of your story. If this is the situation, by all means do so, for you ought to make a beginning as soon as you can. It may turn out, however, that you will choose someone else for the more difficult and deeper revelations. This individual may be entirely outside of AA. For example, your clergyman or your doctor. For some of us, a complete stranger may prove the best bet. The real test of the situation are your own willingness to confide and your full confidence in the one with whom you share your first accurate self-survey. Even when you've found this person, it frequently takes a great resolution to approach him or her. No one ought to say that the AA program requires no willpower. Here is the one place you may require all that you've got. Happily, though, the chances are that you will be in for a very pleasant surprise. When your mission is carefully explained, and it is seen by the recipient of your confidence how helpful he can really be, the conversation will start easily and will soon become eager. Before long, your listener may well tell a story or two about himself, which will place you even more at ease. Provided that you hold back nothing, your sense of relief will mount from minute to minute. The dammed up emotions of years break out of their confinement and miraculously vanish as soon as they are exposed. As the pain subsides, a healing tranquility takes its place. And when humility and serenity are so combined, something else of great moment is apt to occur. Many in AA, once agnostic or atheistic, tells us that it is during this stage of step 5 that he first actually felt the presence of God. And even those who had faith already often become conscious of God as they never were before. This feeling of being at one with God and man, this emerging from isolation through the open and honest sharing of our terrible burden of guilt, brings us to a resting place where we may prepare ourselves for the following steps toward a full and meaningful sobriety. NA just for today, August 20th. Facing death. Often we have to face some type of crisis during our recovery, such as death of a loved one. Basic text, page 102. Every life has a beginning and an end. However, when someone we love a great deal reaches the end of their life, we may have a very hard time accepting their sudden, final absence. Our grief may be so powerful that we fear it will completely overwhelm us. But it will not. Our sorrow may hurt more than anything we can remember, but it will pass. We need not run from the emotions that may arise from the death of a loved one. Death and grieving are parts of the fullness of living life on life's terms. By allowing ourselves the freedom to experience these feelings, we partake more deeply of both our recovery and our human nature. Sometimes the reality of another's death makes our own mortality that much more pronounced. We reevaluate our priorities, appreciating the loved ones still with us all the more. Our life and our life with them will not go on forever. We want to make the most of what's most important while it lasts. We might find that the death of someone that we love helps to strengthen our conscious contact with our higher power. If we remember that we can always turn to that source of strength when we are troubled, we will be able to stay focused on it, no matter what may be going on around us. Just for today, I will accept the loss of one that I love and turn to my higher power for the strength to accept my feelings. I will make the most of my love for those in my life today. Al-Anon's Courage to Change, August 20th. A billboard in my town reads, "Some come to the fountain of knowledge to drink. Some come to gargle." My pre-Al-Anon self would have chuckled at this message, but I would have felt some anxiety about whether I was a drinker or a gargler. Life was either black or white, and in order to feel comfortable, I had to know which extreme applied. But whichever label I pinned on myself would leave me feeling wrong, so I would scramble to fix myself. Now, thanks to Al-Anon, I accept more easily the thought that sometimes I drink, sometimes I gargle, and sometimes I stub my toe on the fountain as I stumble by. I don't have to do better or differently. The best that I can do is good enough. I can relax and enjoy the joke. Today's reminder: Al-Anon encourages me to examine my thoughts and actions, but this is meant as an act of self-love, not as a weapon to use against myself. When I begin to accept myself exactly as I am, life will feel a lot more gentle. Sometimes we try so hard that we fail to see that the light we're seeking is within us. Quote from As We Understood. All right, my friends, that was a beautiful reading today. My goodness, I could pick something from every single book today that just really spoke to me. But going to the 12 and 12 real fast. It says right here, provided you hold back nothing, your sense of relief will mount from minute to minute. The dammed up emotions of years break out of their confinement and miraculously vanish as soon as they are exposed. My friends, I've lived this to be true. I've done this. I've experienced this. When I did my first fifth step and my second fifth step, and anytime I confessed something that had been bothering me, especially that first time. I remember when I first worked the steps. That first time, when I finally revealed everything that I could think of, even stuff that I was embarrassed about, stuff that happened to me when I was a kid. When I was finally able to reveal this to somebody that I really trust and respected, and somebody I love dearly to this day, something magical did happen. I know it sounds like I'm kidding you, but just like this reading says, a healing tranquility took place. I remember driving home thinking, I don't have to carry this anymore. I still remember the drive home. I remember looking at the sunset on my way home, thinking, wow, maybe these steps are really working. Just maybe this is so much deeper than just not drinking. This is about being okay with who I am while trying, to be the best version that I could be as a gift for others, to make those indirect amends for others, and to be of service. Man, I'll never forget it. I will never forget it. And then this last paragraph, by the way, I read an extra page today. I hope you all don't mind. That's why we're a little over, but it says, this feeling of being at one with God and man, this emerging from isolation. I was so isolated before. Through the open and honest sharing of our terrible burden of guilt, brings us to a resting place where we may prepare ourselves for the following steps toward a full and meaningful sobriety. There's another line here that I can relate to. And even those who had faith already often become conscious of God as they never were before. That's my experience. I believed in a higher power beforehand, but when I did these steps and had to get rigorously honest with myself, to this day I have a deeper and richer relationship than I ever thought possible, because I think it forced me to be a lot more humble in practical ways. And I have to continue to do these things. And I want to, because I know on the other side of it comes freedom. And that is a beautiful thing. And real quick, I want to talk about the NA reading. Talking about life and death, you know. It is part of our lives. The just for today kind of prayer at the bottom: I will accept the loss of one that I love and turn to my higher power for the strength to accept my feelings. I love this last line. I will make the most of my love for those in my life today. You know, I heard this quote from a Christian counselor one time. It said, if you have a positive thought about somebody, why not tell them? Not assume that they already know. Why not tell them and show them? You know, I look back on my life. I'm 40 years old. I'll be lucky. I'll be lucky if I make it to 80. I don't know what's going to happen. So half my life's already done. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the first half. I'm grateful to be sober right here and right now. And honestly, I feel like life's just getting better and better, even though circumstances might be getting harder. Even though I'll experience more loss over time. But I also know that my life is short. There's a book that I read that says that life is but a vapor. And in the grand scheme of the universe, man, I'm only here for a second, a millisecond. I want to tell everybody around me, and I want to show everyone around me how grateful I am that they're in my life. Life's but a vapor, you know? And I hope you don't mind. I know we're already way over time, but I've been a lot more conscious now that I'm middle-aged about life, you know, and that, well, the first half's probably already more than finished at this point. And I wrote this back in July, a year and a half ago. I said, I am 39 years old, now I'm 40. I have no idea when my final day will be, but I'm going to assume that the first half of my life is already over. What am I going to do with the time that I have left? I wrote down, number 1, seek my higher power first daily. Start every day that I have left with gratitude to study, meditate, and pray. Number 2, number my days. Carpe diem. Recognize and accept that one day I will be gone. Cherish every single day and express gratitude with action. And then there's a quote from the big book that I love. So then teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. And my daily practice here, at the end of each day, ask, did I love my higher power and love people well today? Number 3, I wrote, model faith for my family. Apply the steps. Be humble, be honest. Admit when you're wrong, Rob. Be the first to forgive. Listen. Work hard. Work every single part of the St. Francis prayer. Daily practice. Pray with my family. Let them see faith and love in action. And then finally, number 4, I wrote, leave a legacy of character. In the big book, I wrote down, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And I wrote, this isn't just financial, it's a legacy of values, integrity, and faith. My daily practice, to choose honesty, kindness, discipline, and wonder, even in the small things. So that, my friends, I just want you all to know that I love you. I appreciate you all so much and the encouragement. I appreciate being alive today, August 20th, I believe, 2026. And I just appreciate another opportunity to do this and be of service. And if you think that you have no value and somehow you're hearing this, I want you to know that you have great worth and value. That your story is not done yet. It's being written right now. And guess what? You've got the pen. I just pray that you make the first step toward change today. You don't have to do it alone. We're dying to help you. So I hope you know that you're a miracle, no matter what you might be telling yourself. But my friends, that's all we have time for today. I hope you have a great one. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of NA, AA, Al-Anon, any other sect or denomination. I'm just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery, honored to be here another day. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.